10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You say we're together.
G'day and welcome to Dax Chats. This is a new episode, and today we have an international artist all the way from Canada, an independent Canadian artist. This is Hayley Verrall, and we're going to bring her to the room right now. G'day, Hayley Verrall. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Dax?
I'm doing awesome. Under the conditions that we're all living in, I'm doing wonderful, actually.
I'm glad.
So first and foremost, please tell us a little bit about who Hayley Verrall is.
All right. Well, I'm a country singer-songwriter right from the heart of Burlington, Ontario, Canada. And I've been doing music my whole life. My dad grew up singing in the barbershop or quartet, so I was always harmonizing with him in the car. I always started singing in the church with my parents. They were both in the choir. And eventually I grew up just going to so many country and bluegrass festivals. And then I had a story which made me want to continue music, and I found my purpose in music through a story and an experience that I had in my later years. So my grandma suffered from a stroke, and she always grew up singing. She loved singing, and one day we just didn't know how long she had left. So I went to the retirement home that she was living in, and I just pulled out my guitar and I started singing, and just seeing the smile on her face and her eyes light up, and just seeing how emotional she got and how much music just connected with her. I just knew right there that that's what I needed to do the rest of my life.
Yeah, for sure. So now, obviously, we're in a very strange situation in the world now. We've been hit by a pandemic unlike we've seen in over 100 years. What has that done for you?
I feel as right now that 2020 is really just a year of growth for me. I believe everything happens for a reason. The reason might be negative, it might be positive, but I feel this year I've grown so much. I've been working on my social media presence, and I've been continuing to work on finding new ways of putting my music out there, whether it be doing virtual shows or even letting the residents at old folks' homes stand on their balconies or sit on their balconies, and I'm just singing outside. So it's really cool what I've learned this year.
That's so you've taken it as a time to step back and grow, as opposed to losing income and losing everything and going, oh my God, what do I do now?
Yeah. I'm trying to make the best out of the situation because that's all you can do.
It is. So now I do believe that parts of Canada are on the road to recovery. How is it looking for Ontario?
It's looking really great. We've flattened the curve, definitely. But we are definitely continuing to work on it because at any moment, a spike could happen if we're not too careful.
Correct. I mean, that just happened in Australia just this week. They've had numerous cases in one state of the country, and they've had to lock down that whole state pretty much. So borders have been closed between states, and it's all very crazy. So, man, it's like I don't know how many people have survived. Like, you know. It's amazing how artists have adapted to the situation, going from performing live in front of audiences to having to do virtual shows and using platforms like we're using now to talk. These things have taken place and very quickly, I might add, and maybe at even another expense to the artist. So have you taken on, you know, these types of platforms and different recording materials and spent more money to
Yeah.
get yourself out there?
I've been working hard. Doing virtually isn't a lot of spending money, which is really nice. It's definitely helpful.
Mm,
But definitely, I've wanted to create more music. So behind the scenes, I'm currently working on another single, and I'm
mm-hmm,
just doing that. And we were working on, and we started virtually of doing like the recording virtually. But then I wanted to make sure I did it right because this is like
mm,
another kind of single that I really wanted to push out, and I really
mm,
wanted to be a strong one. So
mm,
we had to push it back and delay it so that
mm,
I could just go see it in person and be socially distant when recording because I want
mm,
to make sure
mm.
it's done right so my audience and my ears could really enjoy it.
Yeah, well, that's right. You've got to enjoy it before anybody else can enjoy it, right? It's got to be right
Yeah.
for you before it can go out to the world. So, okay, we play one of your tracks. Is this your debut song?
No. So the track you're probably going to be playing is Like You Mean It.
That's the one we play. Yes, that's correct.
Yes. That
it's
was
in
my debut
it's
single.
it's in the charts. So yes, that is your debut single.
Yes. I love that song. I
Yeah.
wrote that. I wrote that back in 2019, 2018, and it was just truly an amazing experience when I was writing it. And then I
Mm,
debuted it across Canada of
mm.
July 2019, which was really amazing. And then just recently I debuted it internationally, and I'm so happy that there's so many DJs and people that really love to play it.
Yeah, so it's getting a lot of traction. It's getting some good response on our charts, which is good. Where are you? Back to number 12. That's right. You were at number 12 for 3 weeks.
Yes.
Drop down to number 17, and this week you're back up to number 12. So yeah, I was like, wow, that was it. Boomerang.
That's pretty neat. I like that. That's funny.
Yeah. Um, so the success of the song is doing well, and as you know, the Country Thunder Network goes out to around about 50 countries every day. So, you know, it's getting out there, it's getting a response. Hopefully, you're getting some people, you know, streaming it on Spotify and on Apple Music and downloading it on iTunes. I mean, that's all we can do right now. You know,
Yeah.
we can't really send out physical copies because we can't go and get them done because we don't have the
No.
money.
But no, I appreciate you helping out independent artists. It's truly amazing.
That's what we're all about. I mean, we do play mainstream artists as well, but
Yeah.
we mainly focus on the independents because that's where music is. You know, like all of the mainstream artists had to start somewhere, right? So
Yes.
and so everybody was independent at one stage. You know, they all started before someone gave them a record deal. You know, you just don't walk into a record company and go, "Here's my demo, give me a record contract." That'd be lovely, but it doesn't
Yeah.
work that way.
No. It's definitely a
Yeah,
lot
so,
of hard work, and the music industry is a roller coaster, but it's a
yeah,
ride that you got to enjoy and you got to learn from those experiences.
yeah, that's right, that's right. So, are you going to give us a little bit of information about the new song that you're planning to do, because you can't actually get out to do it right now, but you're planning to do? There's some little secrets you can tell us about it.
Well, it's in the works with another producer that's Canadian,
Mm-hmm.
and me and him have been talking for a while, and we've been constantly just working together on it, and I've
Mm-hmm.
actually written a song with him as well, so it's really neat that it's coming together and I'm
Cool.
able to work with other Canadian artists.
It's good. That's good. Yes, I actually know of you know, a lot of them. It's a very big community in Canada. I've seen, you know, obviously some of the bigger even independents are working with some of the bigger names like Jason McCoy from the Roadhammers did a song with people from all over the world called "We Are One." And created a whole website and stuff like that called weareonesong.net .org, I think. Sorry, We Are
Yeah.
One Song. Yeah. And all this money, all the money that they raise from that is going back to the COVID issue and to try and help fix the problems.
Yeah.
And then there was that had Tim Hicks in it as well, and it had the Bare Naked Ladies in it, and it had a whole heap of different people. And then there was another one that was done by the band called Kansas Stone,
Yes.
just recently,
and that was written by Dustin Bird, and that's who actually I'm working with this next song.
Well, there you go. So it's such a small world, isn't it? You know, like And that had Ali in it. I can never remember how
it had
she says her
tons of
name.
Canadian artists in it, and it was amazing.
Ali. It had Tim Hicks in it again. It had Jason McCoy in it again, and it was like, wow! And it's a huge song. It's a brilliant song. I loved it. So the Canadian community is quite country music community is quite big, but yet close together.
Yeah, everybody just wants to work together, especially right now. We just want to come together and just show that even though right now musicians are facing a tough time, that we're able to come together and just work on something special and put it out there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so where do you see yourself in the next 6 months?
Well, I got the new single that's probably going to be released soon. I'm not too sure just when. I can't give all the details yet because we're not too sure yet. Things have been pushed behind, delayed just because of what's going on. But I see myself continuing to write. I got other songs that I want to do in the studio, so possibly that could be worked on. I'm part of a few competitions that are virtual, or we're going to go in person depending on what's going on in the world. And I'm just continuing to work on my social media presence.
And social media, that's a hard thing to do, isn't it? Like, wow. Like our social media presence, even for me, I mean, I have to keep this presence up on social media just for the radio station. And it is a difficult task, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because you always want to try and stay consistent.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's like I had people say to me the other day, they're like, you're really out there on social media. It's fantastic. And then I get so busy with other things that the social media drops off. And then they're like, oh, we haven't heard from you for a while. What's going on? And it's like, oh, well, you know, I can't do everything, you know, like social media, run a radio station, do these Dax Chats interviews, do a chart. And now we've done not only the Country Thunder 20 chart, we've now done a localized Australian chart as well. And we're hoping that we get enough numbers of Canadian artists and enough numbers of American artists to do localized charts as well. So at the moment, I think we only have like 5 Canadian artists that are constantly in our charts or in the running to be in our charts. So it's like, I'd like to see more, you know, I'd like to see heaps more up there, you know, like I really want to see. I really want to see some more growth come out of Canada. We've had a lot so far, which is fantastic. But, you know, we're looking at yourself, Sean McCullough, Jay Smith, who else? Dan Washburn. And pretty much that's the 4 that I see constantly in the running for the Country Thunder 20. I'd like to see 20, 30, you know, independent Canadians in the running for the Country Thunder 20 and see who gets it, you know, like.
Yeah, thanks so much for pushing the Canadian arts. It's really awesome of you, and I appreciate that.
I tell you, I was speaking to somebody else the other day who actually runs a live venue in Australia, and she was saying that there's definitely something different about Canadian country music. It's, you know, obviously I'm Australian and I like Australian country music. I like some of the American country music. I can't say I don't, but when I listen to Canadian country music, there's just something so different about it that makes it just unique in itself.
Oh yeah, I listen to like American country and Canadian country, and both of them kind of tie together sometimes. Then you listen to the Canadian country radio, and you hear a different sound. I feel like more in America, it's more of a traditional sound because of Nashville and stuff. Yeah.
It depends now because
Yeah.
it's a lot more pop orientated country that's coming out of
Yeah.
Nashville now. So
Yeah, exactly.
the traditional styles dropped off a bit, but when you think, even Tim Hicks's #1 track this week, No Truck Song, on the Canadian country charts, that is completely different to anything that's coming out of America, and
Yeah.
it's brilliant. I love it. But when you think about the independent artists, you think of Sean McCullough. His track "Sun" was on the #1 in our charts for 4 weeks, and it's that good. It was just and when I interviewed him a couple of days ago, I was like, you should be in the Canadian country charts with that song. It is that good. It's on par with mainstream artists, and I don't know why you're not there.
Yeah, with mainstream, especially with radio, you definitely have to be part of a label, which I've learned too. Is they can sometimes be picked up by independent artists, but it's very tough because labels are very competitive, I've learned.
Oh yes, and that's not just in Canada; it's all over the world.
Everywhere, yeah.
Labels are the most competitive things to try and get into. It's crazy world. Yeah. So, wow. So, tell me, what is it? Like You Mean It is the name of the track. Like You Mean It. Now, it is obviously a story about somebody obviously not showing you that they care. Right.
Yep.
And you want them to do, and you want them to actually show that they actually mean what they're saying, right?
Exactly, because actions speak louder than words.
Right. Yes, I've heard that one before. In my first interview last week, I heard the same thing.
It sounds cheesy, but it's true.
It is. That's very true. And basically hearing that the other week from an Australian artist who has a song called "Show Me," which is exactly about the same type of thing. Don't just say you love me, show me you love me. The actions speak louder than words, and it made me think about my relationship to my wife, and so I think things have changed just in a week or so. It's been amazing because I actually have listened and gone, well, yeah, maybe I should be showing it more than just saying it. I'm a bloke, I'm a man. And it's hard for men to understand that. I get that. It's men don't have that. Well, as far as from my standpoint, we don't have that emotional connection that women have, and that's something that we have to learn. I mean, there's a whole lot of learning going on these days with the pandemic. So we're sitting in our homes and we're learning, and I'm learning too. So yeah. So
and
there you go.
Song and how it kind of tied in is it can go both ways. Not only can men treat me like you mean it or treat you like you mean it, it also goes the same for women. They got to treat their man like they mean it too.
Exactly. That is very true. That is very true. It has to go both ways. Yeah,
because I started writing the song in a way that this has never happened to me before, where I've had a man, like in a relationship wise, not treat me like they mean it. But I wrote it. I was seeing so many things on Facebook, Instagram, and just seeing friends post about what's going on with a relationship and just seeing how upset they were or what was going on. Maybe there was an abusive part of the relationship, and just seeing that and knowing I never experienced this before during a relationship, but maybe throughout bullying too, it could kind of come into effect where they got to treat you like you mean it, like they mean it.
Yeah.
Like they got to show you respect because everyone deserves some sort of respect.
For sure.
And I started writing this song and I just really wanted to connect with people. Maybe I've never experienced it, but I want to show you that I understand you. I'm listening. I'm seeing what's going on, and I'm writing this song just so you know that there's someone out there that cares.
Cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So yeah. So there you go. The track is Like You Mean It. So please show it like you mean it. Right there you go. If you like the track, please vote for it on the Country Thunder 20 on our website, of course. And Hayley Verrall, thank you so much for your time this evening. Well, it's this evening for me. It's morning for you.
Well, thank you for giving me this opportunity and taking your time to chat with me.
Anytime. Obviously, when your new single does hit, you will send it to us, of course. And
I would love to.
And I'm sure we will get you back on for another chat to talk about the new single.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No worries. All right. Thank you very much. That was Hayley Verrall, and you have been watching Dax Chats for another episode, and we are proudly supported by Neon Horse. So thank you for joining me, and until next time, this is DJ Dax saying see you later. Bye now.